the morning that he left, like it was in the morning and I was going to go to work and he was packing up, getting ready to go. And I walked out to the kitchen. I was getting my stuff and I was like, I just want one more hug. So I like walked back into our room and I was like, I just need one more hug.
Yeah.
Hugged him again. And then I left and that was the last time I ever saw him alive. So I'm super grateful that I like went back and gave him a hug and that I love you was the last thing that we had said to each other.
Hey everybody, it's me, Shay. Welcome to Grief Witnessed, where we remember, where we tell the stories, and where grief is allowed to exist without fixing it. I'm here with Becca, another young widow.
Yes.
Yay for us.
Yay for us.
Yay for us. Okay, I want to know your story.
Okay.
But I want to start from like the beginning with your love story with Kenyon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kenyon.
So tell me about Kenyon. How did you guys meet?
So we met working together.
Okay.
And it was like 2015. So I was a freshman in college and we worked up at Sundance together. I taught snowboarding and then he worked in the ticket office.
Okay.
He said that like the first day he saw me, because I would have to go in the ticket office a lot to like get the tickets and everything. And then eventually I ended up working in the ticket office too. But he said like the first time he saw me, he's like, I'm going to date that girl. Like,
I love those
he
stories.
just like had stars in his eyes. And I was like, okay, you know, I thought he was like a cute boy, but I just was like not. I just was kind of like doing my own thing and just, you know, and his sister worked up there too, but they looked nothing alike. And I actually thought that like they were dating because they would like drive to work together and she would like come in the ticket office and be like, hey, can I talk to Kenyon? And I was like, yeah, like, ooh. And then I like teased him. He's like, that's my sister. And I was like,
ew.
Okay, oops, I'm so sorry. So then we started like having more shifts together and like started chatting and thought he was super cool and I wasn't dating anybody. And I was like, you know, started to get a little crush on him. And he was like, would you want to go out sometime? Like after we worked a shift, like we would like switch shifts because he was full-time. I was just part-time.
Mm-hmm.
And so like he stayed a little bit, like I was switching him out from the upper ticket office and we were just like chatting and I could tell he was like kind of lingering and he like walked out the door and then like the door opened again and he was like, would you want to go on a date sometime?
He got his courage up.
He got his courage up. And I was like, yeah, like, why not? You know, because for a split second, I'm like, ooh, if I like go on a date with somebody I work with and it doesn't work out, that could be super messy.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, you know what? Like, whatever. I'm young. Why not?
Yeah.
So we went on a date and it was so fun. We went ice skating at the Gallivan Center and then to Cheesecake Factory. And I was like, this boy's like putting in a lot of work for this first date. And then he dropped me off and I was kind of like, I thought he was cute and fun, but I wasn't like super like head over heels or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And then he was such like a convincing person, very persuasive.
Oh,
like
okay.
Just like everything that he would do in his life. And he'd be like, well, this is what we should do. And let me tell you why, kind of a thing. So it was December 29th that we went on our first date and his birthday is December 30th. And so he was like dropping me off and it was like almost midnight. And he's like, so my birthday's tomorrow. And I was like, well, that's awesome. Like, happy birthday tomorrow. He's like, we should kiss.
He's bold.
I was like, what? And I like just started laughing and like it had been an awesome date. Like we got along super well. It was never awkward. Conversation flowed. Vibes were good. And I was like, what? And he was like, well, here, let me tell you why. Like, hear me out. Let me tell you why. He's like, you could be my last kiss of being 19 and then at midnight kiss again and you could be my first kiss of 20. And I was like, I'm like, that is so like so dumb, but so funny. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so then we kissed and like just like a little kiss and then like another little goodnight kiss. And I like walked inside and I remember it was like pitch dark in my house. I was living at home at the time. And I like walked inside and sat on my parents' couch and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like then I was like, wait, that was like sparks flew.
Okay.
Sparks flew and it was amazing and whatever. And then after that, we like kept hanging out, kept going on dates and eventually got engaged and got engaged up at Sundance.
You guys were young.
I was 20. We were both 20 when we got married.
Okay.
So we got married October 2016.
Okay.
So we'd like met October 2015 and then got married like October 2016.
Okay.
2016. So we were little, tiny 20-year-old babies.
Yeah, you were little.
We were just little guys. And when we went on our honeymoon, we stopped in Vegas and then drove to California, and we stopped in Vegas and we went to check in at the hotel, and the guy was like, "Are you with anybody that's 21?" And we were like,
"Oh,
no, because casino and everything."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh yeah, well, you guys have to stay like at the motel that we also own because you're not old enough to be in the hotel with a casino in it." So we were dying. We were just like, we are such like typical Mormon couple that got married super young.
Okay.
And had to have like real adults. Anyways, it was hilarious. But yeah, so then we were married for 6.5 years.
Okay.
And
yeah, what was that time like?
So it was really hard.
It was
hard.
Okay. Because of his illness.
Okay. So he had ulcerative colitis, which is an autoimmune disease.
Mm-hmm.
It affects the colon and rectum. It's kind of like Crohn's. A lot of people like are more familiar with Crohn's, but so when we first started dating, like I knew he had ulcerative colitis. He had been diagnosed with it when he was 17 years old. And it was pretty under control the whole time we were dating. He would have flare-ups here and there, but that would be controlled with like steroids, and it would be in remission for a bit.
Yeah.
And then right after we got married, like it just kept flaring up. Like he like would be on steroids for a really long time, and it just like would never go away.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to his GI doctor, and when he had got diagnosed, his GI doctor said it was the worst case that he'd ever seen before.
Whoa.
Which was
at 17?
At 17. Yeah. And it took him like 1.5 years to get diagnosed because it's hard to diagnose. You have to be in like, it's kind of like perfect place, perfect time to be able to get diagnosed correctly. So he was on like his daily medicine that like kept him from flaring up, and that stopped working. So then he went on to Humira, which is like super hardcore, almost kind of chemotherapy-ish type of drug that...
Do you get infusions?
He would just do it at home, but it was like an injection.
Okay.
And that didn't work. And that was kind of like the big guns. And his GI doctor was like having him do colonoscopies really often just to make sure that nothing was becoming cancerous and everything. So when the Humira kind of stopped working, or I guess it never really started working, his doctor was like, "Hey, let's do a colonoscopy. Let's see what's going on." And he checked, and he was like, "This is becoming precancerous. Like,
oh, wow.
You're 20 years old. What are our options here?" And so I went to that appointment with him, and his doctor was basically like, "We need to take your colon out."
Yeah.
Like he's like, it's getting to the point where we're not able to control it. And we're just, by kind of keeping the symptoms down a little bit, your quality of life is awful. Like he was always sick and always on prednisone. And if you've been on prednisone before, it's like,
makes you angry.
It makes you angry and like crazy, and it's not fun.
Yeah. It makes you gain a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Like, Tanner was on that.
Yeah.
And he was like, when he was on prednisone, he was like, "You want me to die so you can have all my money." I'm like, "What money?"
You're like, "What do you
have no money." But yeah, I mean,
all your assets.
Yeah, all your assets.
Yeah.
What assets?
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
Yes.
But yeah, it makes you angry.
And like I was on prednisone one time because I had really bad tonsillitis one time, and I remember feeling so angry, but I'm like, this is irrational. Like I know I'm being crazy, but you just like can't help it. So that was kind of Kenyon, and his doctor's like, eventually this is gonna, like, if we don't do anything, you're young, this is gonna lead to like colorectal cancer. Like there was just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we were like, okay, well, let's take the colon out, do an ostomy bag.
Yep.
6 months after we got married, super young. By this time we were both 21 now.
This was only 6 months after you got married?
6 months after we got married.
Wow.
So we didn't really get that honeymoon phase because it was like hardcore surgery.
Yeah.
Right after we got married. And so he got his ostomy bag, and things were pretty good. But he still, like, you take out the colon, and then a couple months later he had to get his rectum removed as well. So
he had a Barbie butt.
So he had a Barbie butt.
Yeah, are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I am. And this was like he got his rectum removed in 2017, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I remember people finding out, and they'd be like, "Wait, so like," I'm like, "No, he does not have a butthole." It's so weird.
Yeah.
But that took a really long time to heal, and he had complications with his colon removal surgery. So he was just like in and out of the hospital, in the hospital for a really long time. and wasn't working during that time, obviously, because he's recovering from like hardcore surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just sick. But anyways, you take out the colon and the rectum and you remove the symptoms of the autoimmune disease, but like it's in his genes. Like he still has the autoimmune disease. So he was still having like chronic pain. And
where does it attack?
I don't really know.
Where was his pain?
His pain was in his abdomen, but it's like, it's not in his colon because his colon's gone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we didn't really ever figure out quite where it was. Like he would have, so ostomy, they pull out your small intestine and it sticks out through your stomach. And then you have a bag that goes on top of it where your waste goes and then you empty it. So he would have like stoma pain, and that's what the intestine is called, is stoma pain. So he had like a lot of pain around his stoma, but everything was fine with it. Like the doctor that did his surgery was incredible, amazing. And then like, so he'd go through like these flare-ups where he would have pain and then it would go away. And then he would have pain and it would go away. And then he would just get sick a lot, and like chronic inflammation in your body's not good. Like, and that's kind of where it manifested. And so he was sick very often and had a hard time. Like he couldn't really keep a job because he was bedridden.
So you were the provider.
So I was the provider. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
At 21?
At 21. I'm a dental assistant. I'm trying to go to school. I'm going to school full time and working full time. And I'm like trying to take care of a sick husband. And I was so burnt out and so tired. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. But then we'd get through like little times of like, oh, everything's okay. And he's feeling well and he gets a new job and things are good. And then he would have to like get a revisional surgery to fix something in his stoma. And then he was, had to quit the job because he needed a couple months to heal. And it was just a lot of that the whole time we were married. The time that he was able to like hold on to a job consistently that paid really well was when I was in dental hygiene school, which was super nice and a huge blessing because I wasn't able to work. Like dental hygiene school was like every day, 8 to 5, super intense, super hard. So that was like the one time that he provided for us, which was awesome. And I mean, it was really hard on him to be a man and not be able to provide.
Yeah.
That was very tough on his mental. And then he's like in bed majority of his life and he's not feeling well. And I mean, I'm sure you can relate like with Tanner, like it takes a toll on your mental health. Like if you're not feeling well physically, your mental health's going to tank as well. So he had a hard time with that. And then that's obviously hard on a caregiver to see the person that you love, like in so much pain and not doing well mentally.
Yeah. I'm curious, and you can decide if you want to answer this question or not, but I'm curious how it changed your relationship, because I know personally for me that it changed my relationship pretty significantly with Tanner, especially the sicker he got.
Yeah.
The less I felt like a wife, even though I was his wife. Yeah. The more I felt like his nurse. And that was really hard, like romantically and emotionally between us. So I'm curious if you had that experience.
Yes, I did. And Kenyon would always say like, I'm so sorry I'm putting you through this. Like, you don't deserve this. You didn't sign up for this. And I was like, Kenyon, I love you no matter what. Like, I know you're not doing this on purpose. Like, this is not something that you're choosing to do.
Yeah.
And so it was hard though, because we never really got like the honeymoon phase, the super in love. It was just like straight to like, I'm a caregiver. I'm a breadwinner. I'm taking care of the house. I'm doing all the chores. I'm doing all the grocery shopping. Like I'm doing everything and taking care of you. And so it was hard and romantically as well, because like he didn't feel good enough to like have sex a lot of the times. And that's like really important in a marriage.
Yeah.
So I never resented him for it or anything like that. Cause I know like
he's not choosing
this.
He's not being malicious.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, had he been, then I'd be like, oh, screw you. But like, this was obviously like out of our control. And I told him, I'm like, Kenyon, I'd do this 100 times over for you because I love you. And, I know you would do the same for me if I was in your position. That was really hard though. It was a really hard, and it was like that, our whole marriage essentially. Like it was a lot of like hope of, oh, he's getting a little bit better. And then, oh, he has to have another surgery. Oh, he's getting a little bit better. Oh, and he gets a flesh-eating bacterial infection and has to be in the hospital for 10 days. Like just little things like that that kept like, we thought like things were really good. And then all of a sudden something explosive, crazy, bad would happen.
Yeah.
And that was hard.
That is hard. cancer was that way as well. Just kind of a roller coaster of like, oh, he's doing really well and we're back down again. And so I don't know how you coped, but for me, I had to just come to a place of, well, I knew he had terminal cancer.
Yeah.
So I had to come to a place of like, okay, this is going to kill him. And so instead of it being highs and lows, I'm just going to try to stay in a place of like, I don't know, just a little bit of high and a little bit of low.
Yeah.
And so like enjoying and living intentionally with the time that we have, but also knowing that like he's going to die.
Yeah.
But did they ever tell you it would kill him?
So
like,
no, we didn't know it was, when he died, it was a shock.
Okay.
So the doctor said like there was no life expectancy really, but we kind of thought like he'll probably live to be like in his 60s or 70s. Like we didn't ever think that he would live to be like an 85-year-old grandpa. Like we knew that like just the toll that it was taking on his body, that he probably would pass away kind of young, but not at 27.
Yeah.
So there was no like doctor that said like, hey, this is kind of what we're expecting for you. That's just kind of like Kenyon, like doing a lot of research and just with his body, how he felt. He's like, I don't think I'm going to live for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because at his funeral, and I remember his grandma telling me this before he passed away, but at his funeral, his grandma came up to me and said, I remember when Kenyon was born, me and Kenyon's grandpa, so his grandparents, like having a conversation saying, I don't think we're going to get very long with Kenyon. So let's really soak up the time that we have.
So interesting. I've heard that from other people as well.
And like, she said that to me and she's like, she said, I think we got longer than we expected with him. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, so I think Kenyon knew he was going to pass away young, and I knew that he would pass away young, but like
not 27.
Not 27.
Yeah. So if you're okay talking about this, what were the couple days like before he died?
So now that his grandma had that premonition, but I also I remember a lot of times in that marriage having the distinct feeling of like, you need to be prepared to live without Kenyon.
Okay.
And in my mind, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to be like in my 50s and he's going to pass away and I'm going to, be by myself. And like, I remember like that feeling coming again throughout the years. And then like the year that he passed away, like quite often, like you need to be prepared to live without Kenyon.
Yeah.
And that like distinct, like that phrase in my mind multiple times over and over. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm a dental hygienist now. Like I went to college and I graduated so I can support myself financially if needed. Like, and I was supporting both of us, but I'm like, okay, I've got that preparation down. Like that's good. And so I like kept getting that feeling, and we didn't have kids. We were married for 6.5 years. And in Utah, we didn't have kids. And people were always like, well, why are you not having kids? And we actually tried. I got pregnant and had a miscarriage. And I remember being like, what the heck? Like, why did that happen? Why am I experiencing this terrible loss? And the month I would have had the baby was the month I started dental hygiene school. So it was like all worked out perfectly according to plan because like I really needed to get my degree and have a career that I could support myself, like hindsight.
Yeah.
So the weeks leading up to Kenyon's death, pretty normal.
Okay.
I mean, looking like as I was in it, like we didn't expect it. He was having some problems with like fluid retention. So we knew his kidneys were maybe not functioning as well as they should have been.
Yeah.
And he was having a hard time peeing. And so he was like, I should probably make an appointment with a urologist and just kind of get things checked out. And that was not anything out of the ordinary because he had issues like that the whole time. His body was just kind of never really stable.
Yeah.
So he was planning on going to Colorado with his dad to celebrate. This was in June 2023 to celebrate his dad's birthday and Father's Day. And they're huge baseball fans. So they're like, well, we're going to go to a baseball game in Colorado. And Kenyon was like, I'll make an appointment with the doctor when I get back. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's great. And then he like was in this really hopeful phase of life a couple weeks before he passed where he was like really happy. And he was like, besides the kidney stuff, feeling pretty well, like his mental health was really good. And he was cheery and like excited he had a new job lined up that he was going to start and he was excited about it. And like his mental health was really, really good right at that time.
Yeah.
And I had like Kenyon would come visit me at work sometimes. And my coworker told me, she's like, I remember seeing him come in the week that he passed away and just thinking like, he looks really, really happy.
Aww.
Like he looks really good. And like, he looks like he's doing well. And I was like, yeah, he was. And so it was a Wednesday. I guess he passed away on like a really early Thursday morning, but on a Wednesday, so he passed away June 22nd, 2023. So on the June 21st, him and his dad left to Colorado and we're driving there and we're going to spend the weekend down there and go to a baseball game and just like hang out together. They had a really close relationship. It was just Kenyon and his sister. So him and his dad were really close.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a really good conversation on the way down. They had kind of been having a little bit of father-son tension, you know, as families do, as people do, you know, they were having a rough time. And so this trip, like I remember Kenyon texted me, said, me and my dad are having a really good conversation right now. Like they had a lot of deep rooted issues that they were kind of working out. And Kenyon was just like, I'm so happy that I was able to have this conversation with my dad. Like we really needed this bonding time. And so they like drove all day Wednesday, got to the hotel Wednesday night, and I texted him and I was like, hey, like text me when you're at the hotel. Like let's FaceTime tonight before I go to bed. So he texted me, he's like, hey, we're at the hotel. We're going to go run, grab some dinner, and then I'll come back and I'll FaceTime you. And I was like, okay, awesome. Sweet. And so he texted me and we FaceTime and the service was really, really spotty. Like it kept cutting out and I was just like, I'll just text you. Like I was going to bed and we were like trying to say goodnight, but the service was super spotty. And I'm like, I'll just talk to you, you know, whatever, another time when service is better. So then we like hung up and I texted him and I said, okay, like love you so much. Have such a fun time. I love you so much. Good night. And he texted me back and he was like, I love you so much, Becca. And that was the last text that we ever sent to each other.
Okay.
I'm really grateful that I have those screenshots of that was the last thing that we said to each other was I love you.
Yep.
And that's something that I say to my friends and my family and everybody, because like ever since I was little, because I was like, what if that's the last word that you had with somebody? Oh, and I remember on the day that he left, the morning that he left, like it was in the morning and I was going to go to work and he was packing up, getting ready to go. And I walked out to the kitchen. I was getting my stuff and I was like, I just want one more hug. So I like walked back into our room and I was like, I just need one more hug.
Yeah.
Hugged him again. And then I left and that was the last time I ever saw him alive. So I'm super grateful that I like went back and gave him a hug and that I love you was the last thing that we had said to each other. Mm-hmm. So Thursday morning I wake up and I get a text from my stepmom and she texted me and she's like, hey, are you home? And I was like, yeah. And it's like 8:30, 9 in the morning. And I was like, yeah, I am. What's up? And she was like, me and your dad are coming over. And I was like, is everything okay? And she was like, we're on our way. And right then I just was like pit in my stomach. And then I like just kind of sat down and I was like, I think Kenyon passed away.
Whoa.
So I just like had the distinct feeling of like, oh my gosh, Kenyon passed away. Like I just knew. Mm-hmm. I just knew. And like for 2 seconds, I thought like maybe my brother was in an accident because he loved him to death, but he had a motorcycle and would drive it all around town and thought he was invincible. And I was like, okay, Tyler got in a motorcycle accident. Like why else would my parents be coming over? But then it was like, no, Kenyon passed away. They come and I opened the door and I could tell they had both been crying. And I was like, crap, like what? Like you can't even prepare yourself for that moment because it's just like so disgusting and devastating and horrific. So they come and sit down on my couch and I remember being like, what's going on? Like what? And my dad could barely, I've only seen my dad cry a few times in my life. And he was sitting next to me. His eyes were just like full of tears. And I was like, what? And my dad was like, Clint called me. Clint's Kenyon's dad. Clint called me this morning. And I was like, okay. He's like, and then he like couldn't even talk. And I was like, okay, what? And so I look at my stepmom and she's like, Kenyon didn't wake up this morning. And I was in my mind, I'm like, okay, so he's at a hospital somewhere in Colorado and I need to fly over there and get to him. He's in a coma of some sort. Like that was just like where my mind went. And I like looked at her and I was like, okay. And she goes, he didn't wake up this morning. And I was like, okay. And she goes, he and she like couldn't talk. And I was like, did he die? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, what? And like, I had already known that, but just like hearing it made it real. And I screamed and I like, the sounds that came out of my mouth at that point, like horrific. Like every time I tell a story, I cry, even though like I'm very much at peace with his passing. It's just still just like trauma. Yeah. And I'm crying into my dad and I'm like passing out and I get up and I was like, no. Like, this can't be happening. Like I just barely talked to him. Like I was just barely talking to him last night. How could he pass away? My mom was on her way over too. And she opened I went to get the door and I passed out and I started throwing up on the ground. Like just all that shock just like hits you all at once. And I'm just like on the floor wailing, like being held by my dad and my mom and my stepmom and just like in complete shock. Like going back to that moment, like I've had to do EMDR therapy to help with that like trauma and healing and everything. And just like every time I think about it, I'm just like, oh, that was just the most awful moment of my entire life. Yeah. But I remember feeling obviously devastated and in shock, but also so much peace at the same time, because my first thought was like, when she said that Kenyon didn't wake up, I was like, oh, I'm so happy for him. Yeah. Like he gets to be in heaven, not suffer, not in pain. He had a really, really, really hard childhood and life, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's free of that. Like he always talked about the moment he got to heaven, how excited he was to like give Jesus a hug and see his great grandma and finally be free of like every single earthly pain. And so I remember just being like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited for him. I'm so happy that he can finally like be free of all the hard stuff and all the painful stuff. And like,
now I'm stuck here without them.
Exactly. But I'm like, but what about me? Yeah. Like I'm so excited for him and happy for him, but what about me? Yeah. And that was like, I just remember staring at this corner in the wall and just like being like, what is my life going to look at? Like what in the world? So I have all three of my parents here. I'm like barely conscious. Like I just remember being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to throw up and I'm going to pass out and I need a drink of water. And do I need to go to Colorado right now? Like, am I supposed to book a flight? Like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. And my mom took me over to her house. And then like, you know, my dad called my brother and my sister and my whole family. We let everybody know and word spread really fast. And I just remember my mom took me to her house. And I was laying in my little brother's bed and like all of a sudden all my family came over, all my friends came over, word spread really fast. I started getting text messages and I just was like, I want to die. Like, how am I going to live without Kenyon? Yeah. Obviously you go into panic attacks and anxiety. And I just remember just crying and just being like, what the hell? And my stepsister gave me some Xanax.
Love that.
Love her. Bless her. Yeah. That's how I found out she was pregnant, because she's like, I have a bottle of Xanax. And I was like, well, don't you need it? And she was like, actually, I can't take it right now because I'm pregnant. Yeah. So and then eventually like I was seeing a psychiatrist. I struggle with anxiety and depression, have my whole life. And I FaceTimed him and I said, SOS, I need help. I'm not going to make it. I need something to get me by, basically, because I was like, how am I supposed to do this? And so that helped a ton. my sister lives in Arizona. She's from Mesa. And she got on the plane immediately and flew down and was by my side. She was by my side 24/7. Like, she's my best friend. And it's hard having her live so far away. She's my only sister. And she got the call from my dad. She was about to take a nap and she got a call from my dad and she's like, oh, that's weird. My dad never just calls me out of the blue. Like, when my parents need to call us on the phone, they'll say, hey, can you give me a call? Or, hey, text or call me when you have a minute or something. So she was like, this is weird. Dad never just like calls. So she answered it. She was like getting ready to take a nap and she's like, I'll call him back after. And then she's like, actually, I'll answer. So she answers and my dad told her and she immediately hopped on a plane and was there by that night. And slept next to me. Like, I couldn't go to the bathroom without her. After like 4 days, she's like, you should probably take a shower. Because I just laid in my little brother's bed and just, she's like, you should probably take a shower. And I was like, I can't get in the shower by myself. And so she's like, I'll stand in the bathroom outside the shower while you shower. I'll be there. And so she really, really saved me. And she stayed, I don't even know. Time is so weird in that span. Like, there's chunks of my life that I don't remember during that time.
Yeah.
Because your brain tries to heal, tries to protect you from the really hard trauma. But I think she was there for like 2 weeks and she did not leave my side once. And that was like such a help. I can't thank her enough for that. And then like my support system was so incredible. My family dropped everything and was there with me. My mom would like make me go outside for 20 minutes every day to get sunlight. And I remember like I couldn't eat obviously because I was just like so sick just from all the trauma. Obviously when you lose your husband, you don't want to eat. Like, I don't know. Some people, maybe that's how they heal themselves is eating. But for me, it was just like, I can't, like, I'm going to throw up. So like my mom is sticking straws in my mouth that has Ensure in it and like straws in my mouth that has water. Like basically I was a baby for like 2 weeks.
That's okay.
And my friends came over and were with me. Like my friends took turns being with me like 24/7 because I was really having a hard time being by myself. And then I stayed at my mom's for a week and I was like, I can't go back to the house that me and Kenyon lived in. Like, I can't go back and live there by myself. Like, and luckily we were renting and our landlords were super cool. And I was like, hey, my husband just died and I can't go back. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Don't worry about anything. Like, do what you need to do. Just keep me updated. So that week that I was at my mom's house in my little brother's bed, my whole family moved all my stuff out of my apartment into my dad's house and a storage unit. And I lived with my dad for a year and then I moved, I like did all that I needed to do to heal there and lived with my dad for a year. And then I moved to Vineyard and was on my own and stuff with some roommates. But my family just absolutely took care of everything. Like, I did not have to lift a finger planning Kenyon's funeral. Cause I remember being like, I'm not a planner at all. Like, it stresses me out to have to plan something. Like, that's really, really hard for me.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, I just lost my husband. How am I supposed to plan a funeral? And my mom was like, don't worry about it. We've got it. We'll take care of it. Like, my stepsisters helped a ton and my dad and my mom and my stepmom and my friends and my sister-in-law, everybody like just did. Everybody just like divvied up and just did. And all I had to do was basically decide where he should be buried.
Mm-hmm. Where's he buried?
He's at Orem Cemetery.
Orem.
Yeah. He's from Provo and was like very proud of being from Provo and loved it. And so I was like, well, obviously he needs to go to the Provo Cemetery because that's where he's from. But and that's what I told my mom originally. I was like, Provo Cemetery, that's where he would want.
Yeah.
My mom's like, what about Orem? And I was like, okay. Cause I grew up in Orem and my dad lives in Linden and my mom's in Orem. So I was like, well, I think he would maybe be mad. And my mom was like, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care where he's buried. Where are you? She's like, Orem's way closer to where you are. and you're going to want to go visit him often and you're not going to want to drive all the way to Provo. And I was like, oh, that's such a good point. My mom's like the smartest person ever. And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's do Orem because it's just like way closer.
Yeah.
And in Orem Cemetery, there's a bike path, and Kenyon's dad is a huge biker, and he bikes through Orem Cemetery all the time. So when I told him we were going to do Orem Cemetery, he just cried and he was like, that's perfect. So I think my mom was inspired to help me make that decision, because my mom is always like, be independent, make your own decisions. Like growing up and stuff, I was never like forced to do stuff really. It was like, you're free to like think and make your own decision. So when she pushed back, when I said Provo, I was a little bit surprised, but I think she was inspired definitely to be like, let's do Orem instead. Yeah. And I was like, okay, sure. Great.
I like that she's like, he doesn't care.
Exactly.
Because that's so true. Like
it's so true.
They have a whole, they're in heaven.
They don't care. They are living the good life.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I remember being like, well, what if he's mad? And my mom's like, he's not, he doesn't care. Like let's bury him where you're going to be able to get to him the easiest. Cause like from where I lived at the time, it would have been like a 25-minute drive to Provo Cemetery. And where I lived, it was a 5 minutes from Orem Cemetery. So I'm like, okay, that's perfect. That's great. And then with his dad being like, I ride through that cemetery almost every day. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it was, So that decision was like the only thing I had to decide for his funeral, which was amazing because everybody else just like took care of everything. And so much love was like shown and outpoured, and I like could not believe it. I would just cry. Like,
yeah, it is a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Like throughout our whole marriage, we were constantly paying medical bills. Like we had so much medical debt because he was always in and out of surgery in the hospital and doctor's appointments and everything. And it's just like, gets so crazy expensive. So we had a lot of medical debt, and I'm like working my butt off trying to keep up with everything. Right. And my sister set up and I just remember being like, well, what the heck? How am I supposed to pay for a funeral? And my dad was like, we'll take care. Like my dad and stepmom was like, we'll take care of it. Like, don't worry. Like they said that when they were on their way to tell me what had happened to Kenyon, that they talked about like, they're going to pay for the funeral, which was super sweet. But there's like the outpouring of love that people showed me. Like, so anyway, so my sister set up a GoFundMe, and people donated so much money. And it was like, when you're going through something so horrific and hard, like finances are the last thing you want to think about. And to have people donate so we could pay for a funeral and pay for medical bills and like help me take 5 weeks off of work. Like it was incredible how much money people.
It's an uncomfortable thing to be the recipient.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I felt guilty.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable. It's like very humbling.
Yes.
It's uncomfy.
It's uncomfy. And my dad like was shocked at like how much people were willing to donate. Yeah. It's uncomfortable. Cause I'm like, I didn't do anything to deserve this money.
Yeah.
Like I didn't work for it. Why? But I'm like, you know what? People are donating out of the kindness of their heart to help somebody that's going through a really hard time. So now like whenever I see GoFundMe's for people that have lost a spouse or a child, I always donate because it's so helpful. And people that were even like, sorry, I could only afford to donate $5. I'm like, I don't care if you donate 50 cents. It's just the fact that you took that time and thought of me to donate is like so kind.
100%.
So kind. Okay. Backtrack to your question of Kenyon's dad. Why didn't he call you?
Yeah.
So the morning that he passed away, my dad's a physical therapist and he has his own practice and he's always super busy and whatever. So Kenyon's dad, so Kenyon passed away in the night. He passed away in his sleep. His kidneys ended up failing. Long story short, his body just like had so much trauma and it was just like shutting down. So like looking back at the last couple weeks of his life, I could see that he was sleeping a lot. He was eating less, drinking less because his body was shutting down. And so it didn't need as much food and water to maintain its homeostasis, I guess. Yeah. And he was sleeping a ton. So I'm like, okay, like looking back, I could see that he was actively dying. So his dad he woke up in the morning and found Kenyon and tried to do he was gone.
Yeah. It's awful.
I know. I can't even imagine. I was always so scared that I was going to find Kenyon dead. That was like one of my biggest fears because just of how much medical stuff he had.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that I wasn't the one that found him because I don't know if I would ever recover from that, honestly.
Yeah, that is
like, yeah. And his dad was a cop for a really long time and knew how to act in that situation.
Yeah.
So his dad, he obviously called it the ambulance. The coroner came and took him and did an autopsy and all that stuff. And that's eventually what they found. So, I mean, in the easiest terms, he was on a lot of medications for his problems, and his kidney wasn't metabolizing them and filtering them properly. So he had this really big buildup of medication that just caused everything to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad felt really guilty. He's like, well, I would have woken up if he had suffered or anything. And so I think Kenyon went really, really peacefully.
Yeah.
Which is such an awesome thought.
Yeah.
Just knowing that like he just went to sleep and then he woke up, and my family always jokes like he was probably so confused when he woke up in heaven. It was just like, wait, I was just barely like in Colorado and now I'm,
Have you seen the new movie Eternity?
No, I'm scared too.
I went and saw it. There's a lot of humor in it. It's not as heavy as it portrays it to me.
That's good to know.
But that's what happens to the husband. He he coughs on a peanut and it ends up killing him. Oh my gosh. He chokes on a peanut and dies and then wakes up in heaven.
Yeah. Like it's just so funny because Kenyon was like so reactive and was like, oh, like everything, just like imagining him just being like, wait, what the? Like, it's just so, my family always talks about it. We're like, he was probably so confused. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like this is sick. Like it took a couple weeks to get his body back. They had to do an autopsy and embalm him and everything like that. And it took about 2 weeks to get his body back. Mm-hmm. So like for that 2 weeks that I didn't see his body, it didn't really feel real. Like it was just like such a weird, I'm like, well, what if he's like playing a joke on me? Like, what if I just like FaceTime and he answers? Or like, what if I just like try and call and he answers and I can talk to him? But cause I like didn't see the evidence. So we worked with a funeral home here in Orem and they flew his body from Colorado to the funeral home here. And we went and saw him. We went and saw his body like 2 weeks after he had passed. And I was really scared because I'm like, what's he going to look like? You know? And I remember like we got to the funeral home and we went with my family. My whole family came, like my siblings, my parents. And we walked in and he looked so good. Cause I'm like, it's been 2 weeks since he's been embalmed. And I know that like that slows decomposition and everything, but I'm like, I don't know how much. Yeah. And like I had seen people that had like passed away before at funerals and stuff, but I like was just so scared. Yeah. You know, cause you don't know what to expect. And we walked in and before we walked in, you know, when somebody was born to do something, like she was born to be this. Yeah. This was her job that she was born to do. Like she was incredible. Her name was Madison. Love her to death. But she was like, hey, just so you know, he doesn't have any makeup on right now. So just keep that in mind. She's like, he will look better at the viewing, but he doesn't have any makeup on. And I was like, okay. That freaked me out. We walked in and he looked incredible. Oh, he looked so peaceful and so nice and just so, he didn't have any weird discoloration or any, like he looked so good. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, like, wow. Like the last time I get to see him, he looks so nice. Yeah. Because sometimes like, when I went to his grandpa's funeral, like I remember being like, oh, he looks a little rough. And the last time I see him, he looks a little rough, like, you know, but the last time I see Kenyon on earth, like he looks so amazing. Yeah. And we just sat with him and I hugged him and I kissed him and he had a little a little beard hair that was like up into his nose. And I was like, he is not going to be okay with having that. So my dad like pulls out his little pocket knife and I like trimmed up the beard hair that was going into his nose. And his hair was kind of crazy because obviously when it just got messed up from the autopsy and everything. And I was like, well, we're going to have to fix that as well because he's not going to be happy if his hair's messed up for his viewing.
Tanner was the same. Like I literally called his barber who he loved and his barber called the funeral home and instructed them on how to do his hair.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet.
I know.
That's so sweet.
And it looked good.
Yeah. Cause I remember like Madison was like, we can fix his hair. And she's like, how does he normally do it? And I was like, I don't know how to do boy hair. Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do a good job. So one of my best friends came and did his hair right before the viewing. She does hair and she did his hair for our wedding. Like she cut his hair for our wedding. We got married. And so she came and did his hair for the viewing. And that was really cool. And I just sat with him and hugged him and held him. And my sister took some pictures of that moment. And I'm so glad I have them.
Yeah.
Like my sister took pictures throughout kind of the whole entire time that he had passed away. Just like there's a picture of me and my sister reading the obituary that my dad wrote for Kenyon. And it's beautiful. My dad's like a great writer. And there's a picture of me and my sister looking at it. Like there's just so many pictures that were taken during that time, which is like a weird, if you've never been through anything like that, you're kind of like, well, why are you taking pictures? I don't think they can wrap their mind around like, well,
exactly.
That's not an appropriate time to take a picture. Yeah. And like, I'm so grateful for all those pictures.
Yes.
And like, those pictures are not pictures that the pictures of me like hugging Kenyon and holding Kenyon.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not sharing those pictures with anybody. Yeah. My husband, Bekah, hasn't even seen those pictures.
Oh, really?
No, he hasn't. And I'm sure eventually I'll show him, but me and my sister are the only ones that have ever seen those pictures because she sent them to me, and they're very sacred and I'm so glad I have them. And it's just a comfort to me to be able to look at those because it's hard for me to look at pictures of Kenyon when he was alive. I know some people, that's how they help themselves is like his dad was like, please send me all the pictures and videos of Kenyon that you have. So I did. But for me, looking at those pictures and videos is like a harsh reminder that he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I have those pictures of me holding Kenyon in his lap. And he looks so nice. And then
I'm so glad.
I'm so glad. Like that was such a blessing. Like seeing God's hand throughout everything. So many miracles happened throughout this time, and that was just another little one that like God was mindful of me because I was really, really scared to see him not look well and to see him look so nice. Like it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And then the funeral makeup, they add a little bit of color back into their face and he looked so handsome.
Aww.
Like his casket was awesome. And we were both big snowboarders and my friend was like, I'll take care of the flowers. And so she did flowers and we had his snowboard on display and put flowers up in his snowboard. And it was so cool. And I'm like, Kenyon would have loved this. Yeah. Like he would have thought this was awesome.
Yeah.
And he looked so happy at his funeral. Like his makeup was amazing. And so many people came up to me and was like, he looks really good. Like this is like, I remember my aunt saying like, this is the best I've ever seen anybody look at their funeral. Aww. And I was like, I think so too. Like he just looked so amazing. Yeah. So that was a huge blessing to me and just like such a comfort.
Because you mentioned Bekah. Yes. And I want to know about your chapter 2.
Yes.
And if you don't know what chapter 2 means, it's the loved one that comes after your first.
Okay.
So yeah, tell me about Bekah and when did you meet him? How has he been able to hold space for Kenyon?
Yeah.
I want to know about that.
So Kenyon and I he always said, if I die and you don't get remarried and have kids and find love, I'm going to be so mad at you. I'm going to come and haunt you until you do. Yeah. So we had like said that multiple times and I had said that to him too. I'm like, same for me. Like, I want you to be happy. So I was like, okay. So I never felt any guilt getting back into dating or anything like that or like getting remarried or anything because I knew that's what Kenyon wanted for me. And so I started dating like 7 months after Kenyon passed away. And it was weird.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like so out of it. Like, how am I supposed to flirt? Like, how am I supposed to like, it was so weird, but it was like riding a bike, you know, you get used to it pretty quick. But so I met McKay, we met on Hinge. I just randomly one day was like, there was like no boys in my singles ward that I was like into or anything like that. So I'm like, I'm just going to download Hinge, like just on a whim. I was like, I'm just going to do it. Why not? Can't hurt.
Yeah.
So I downloaded Hinge and I had my radius set for like 15 miles outside of me. And I went on a couple dates with some boys, and like one boy, like, I don't know, it's weird being a widow and dating at this age, because I never like said on the first date, hey, I'm a widow. Like that's...
You didn't put it in your bio?
I didn't put it in my... I mean, like it was on my Instagram. Like if you would go see my Instagram, like you could see obviously that what had happened in my life. Yeah. But I never like... I didn't have my like Instagram in my bio. So I went on some dates with boys that had no idea. You know?
Interesting.
And if it got brought up, I wasn't going to like hide and be like, oh, you know? But it was just like, I didn't bring it up on the first date because I was like, oh, not everybody needs to know.
Yeah.
And I like got along really well with this boy that I like met out in the wild, like hanging out with friends, and like we clicked super well. And like he followed me on Instagram and we like chatted a little bit, and I was like, when are you going to ask me out on a date? And he was like, well, I just like don't know how to date a widow. And I was like, see ya.
What the heck does that even mean?
I was like, okay. I'm like, am I not like normal? Like, cause people would be like, you're so normal for being like for having just had this traumatic event happen. And I was like, well, yeah, like, what do you want me to be like sulking all the time? Like I did that. Exactly. I'm like, I'm not wearing a black veil around town.
Yeah.
But so that was weird. I had like a couple things like that where people would find out and be like less interested. And I was just like, okay, you're obviously not the one for me then. If that's too heavy for you, like, see ya. So McKay and so then I like went on a couple Hinge dates, and I was like, whatever. And then I was just like, I'm going to set my radius to like 20 miles because I didn't realize how small 15-mile radius was.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna set it to 20 miles. And then the next day I liked McKay's photo on Instagram. I saw it and I was like, ooh, he's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Or on Hinge. And I was like, ooh, he's so cute. And he liked me back. So we matched.
Yeah.
And he lived 19 miles away.
Okay.
In Riverton. And I was like, okay, awesome. So he messaged me and was like, you're a dental hygienist? And I was like, yeah, because he's in dental school.
Oh.
So it was just like, and then he was like, did you say hygienist? And I was like, yes, I did. And he's like, let's get dinner and talk teeth ASAP. And I was like, I love it. And I was like, perfect. He's like, okay, awesome. Dropping everything. And and I was like, here's my phone number. Text me. And so we didn't really talk much before we went out. He was just like, hey, this is where we're going to go. Meet me there at this time on this day. And I was like, love a man that can make a plan.
Love it. Yeah.
Awesome. So we met up on our first date. He was wearing his scrubs. He had just come straight from school.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh.
Were you like, ooh, hot?
Well, I was kind of like, what kind of scrubs is he going to wear? Because like in like the medical world, like figs are like the top of the line scrubs, right? They're like the nicest and the best, whatever. Yeah. And he was wearing figs and I was like, like that's all I wear too. So I was like, oh, okay, great. And he like had his like figs with like a collar. So he's wearing like collared scrubs. And I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And he was so cute, like so cute in his pictures, but even cuter in person. And I was like, so nervous.
Yeah.
And we went to All Red Orchards and got like the apple pie shakes.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was the beginning of October. So it was like a little chilly. And we sat on the lawn and ate our shakes and chatted. And his cousin we ran into his cousin on the first date, and it was like super random. And we thought it was funny. And she took a picture because she was like, what if this goes somewhere?
What if you guys get married?
What if you guys get married?
Yeah.
What? So anyways, we sat and talked and got along great. And like, they start shutting down the orchard and turning off the lights, and we're the only ones left on the lawn, and they shut off the lawn. Like everything is shut down. All the workers are gone, and we're sitting on the lawn, and I'm shivering, freezing cold, but I'm like, I'm having so much fun. Like, I don't want this to end. So then he's like, should we do this again? And I was like, yeah, let's do it again. And we planned our second date right then and there. And I was like, this is awesome. And then, I asked him for his last name because I was like, I want to put him in my contacts in my phone. And I also wanted to look at him on Instagram, obviously. So I like looked him up on Instagram and followed him, and he followed me back.
And he didn't know you were a widow?
He didn't know I was a widow at this point.
Okay. So didn't bring it up on the first date?
Didn't bring it up on the first date.
Okay.
And he'd never been married before. He had like dated a bunch of girls, but never like found the one or whatever. And so he follows me on Instagram and I'm like, okay, as soon as they follow me, they know. Cause like it's all over my Instagram. Yeah. And I get a text from him cause it was like a couple days till we're going to go on our second date. And he was like, Becca, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry for your loss. And I was like, oh, okay. Like this is like, I like really liked him. I'm like, how's he going to respond? And he just goes, you are so brave. And I can tell that you have such an amazing support system around you. He's like, I'd love to know more. Can we talk about this in person?
Oh,
and I was like, what a mature way to respond.
Yeah.
And I remember like I was at my friend's baby shower and I like showing all my friends. I'm like, look what he said. Like, this is awesome. I screenshot it, sent it to my sister and she was like, okay, Bekah, like amazing. And so we talked about it on our second date and he was just like, I just want to know everything. Like, what have you learned from what you've been through and how is this going to help you further in life? And I'd never been asked that question by men before that I had like gone on dates with. And I was like, this guy is so like emotionally mature. Like, this is awesome. And he was like, how does this help? Like, what are your plans for the future? Are you wanting to get remarried? Are you, you know, kind of what's your goals? And I was like, well, I want to get remarried and I want to have kids. And he's like, okay, awesome. You know? And just like the way he responded, he's like, well, I think you're so brave for talking about this and for being willing. And he was the whole time, he's like, if you're ever uncomfortable or if there's any question I ask that you don't want to answer, like, just let me know. And I was like, no, like, I'll tell you everything. And just like the way he responded with like so much openness and grace and everything was just like incredible. So then obviously we started dating and saw each other every day and whatever. And all my friends people would ask me like, how does he feel about you being a widow? And I was like, honestly, like he's handled it so well. Like, and I had healed a lot. I had been through a lot of therapy. It had been almost 2 years. It had been a year and a half since Kenyon had passed away. And I had healed a lot, but obviously it's still always within you, that hardness. And I like asked him, I'm like, does it stress you out? Does it make you feel a certain type of way? Like, do you feel competition or like any sort of anything? And cause I'm like, I know it's heavy. Like, let's talk about this. And he's like, Becca, I don't feel like it's baggage. He's like, it's what made you who you are. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it did. And he's like, this like made me cry. He's like, I feel like I love Kenyon because
all right,
I know. He's like, I feel like I love Kenyon because he helped you become who you are. And you're living your life in a way to honor him. And I can't wait to meet him someday. And like, I started crying and I was
Bekah.
Like, wow, Bekah, like, oh my gosh. And in typical Utah fashion, we got married super fast because I was just like, you're the one. Like when we met each other, like I think we both knew pretty fast that like this was the person. Yeah. I remember texting my sister like a month after we met and I said, I'm going to marry Bekah, mark my words. And his parents were like, so when are you and Becca getting married? And he was like, what? And they're like, Bekah, like she's the one. Yeah. And so we like knew pretty fast and he has just like always held space for me. Like some days I'm like, oh, I really miss Kenyon today. And Bekah's like, well, what do you want to talk about him? What do you want to do? Do you want to go to the cemetery? And
oh my gosh, what a gem.
Such a gem, like such a gem of a man. And I can't believe like that he was single for so long and not married because I really like, he's incredible. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like he has helped me heal so much. And he's such a hard worker. And he just like, he fits in so well to my family. Like my family was instantly loved him and was just like, he is perfect for you. Yeah. I have no doubt that God put him in my path. Like, no doubt that this was all, I think Kenyon sent him to me as well. Like, no doubt that Kenyon probably kicked his butt. Because Bekah was like, I was about to delete Hinge and then I just said, oh, I'll just give it one more try. I'm like, Kenyon probably kicked him in the butt and was like, dude, you need to meet Becca. Yeah. And like on Kenyon's birthday, we go to the cemetery and we drink a root beer float for Kenyon or a Dr. Pepper for Kenyon. And like we do like this fundraiser bike ride in September every year and for Kenyon and Bekah came and rode and he just like has never once been jealous or comparative or anything. Like he has been so incredible. And like we have a picture of Kenyon in our home and we always will. Yeah. And Bekah's like, that is great. He's like, I'd love to have a picture of Kenyon. He's confident. He is confident.
He is confident.
That's what a lot of people have said. They're like, what a confident man.
Yes.
What a good man.
Yeah.
So when we got engaged, let me backtrack. The last day I wore my wedding ring with Kenyon was his funeral.
Yeah.
Because it was just painful to wear it. I know some people like to wear it forever. I just was like, I can't. And I just kept it in my safe under my bed. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Like, I'm not going to give it to a child because me and Kenyon didn't have kids.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I saw people repurpose the jewelry and I was like, oh yeah, a necklace would be cool. You know, whatever. But I just like didn't really think much about it. And McKay was like getting ready. We were like, you know, when you were going to get married, and he's like, what are you going to do with your wedding ring from Kenyon? And I was like, I don't know, maybe repurpose it into something. And he was like, can I have it? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, so I gave it to him and he used it in this wedding ring. So
oh my gosh.
In my wedding band, it's all the diamonds from the ring that I had with Kenyon.
Mm-hmm.
And in my engagement ring, no, my big stone with Kenyon was a cubic zirconia because we were 20.
Oh yeah.
You know, so the little stones, the little halo around my engagement ring were also from my wedding ring with Kenyon. Oh. And then this Christmas, there was a couple like bigger diamonds that didn't go in this band, and I didn't really know what he did with them. I didn't really think about it. And this Christmas, I opened up a pair of earrings, and they had used the gold and the rest of the diamonds from my wedding ring with Kenyon to make me earrings.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's so awesome that he's so confident that I have a piece of Kenyon with me forever in my new relationship, in my new wedding ring, that I get to like remember him forever. And McKay has said multiple times, like, I love Kenyon because he helped you become who you are. And I love you so much. And I'm so grateful for the time that you guys had together.
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Oh, I love that so much.
I know. It just like made me cry when I think about it. And like at my wedding reception, I told Kenyon's dad that, and he just started crying. And I was just like, it's really cool to be able to have a piece of that memory and a part of him with me forever.
Yeah,
like,
that is beautiful.
It's awesome.
How has your experience shifted your perspective of life?
Life is too short.
Yeah.
Like, one thing that was really cool. So my parents got divorced when I was when I was like 21, and my dad got remarried, and my mom and stepmom, it was always like this weird tension between them. And like when we would go to family things, like my parents wouldn't I would sit with my mom, and my dad and stepmom would sit over here. It was just like this weird tense energy. Yeah. And I prayed for so long, like, please help my family to just like get along, because there's going to be so many more life events that like both parents are going to want to be at. And it was just like uncomfortable. And the day that Kenyon passed away, I remember like my mom opening the door, and my stepmom and them just hugging. And I remember being like
whoa,
what? Whoa. Like, that's crazy. And literally that day, like, they put all bad feelings aside, and just ever since then, it's been great. Like, we'll go do family stuff together, and we'll all sit together, and like my parents' relationship is so much better. And I think they all just kind of realized like life is too short to like have these angry feelings and to have this tension. Life's too short.
Yes.
My perspective on life is just like, grudges aren't worth it. Being angry at people isn't worth it. Everybody, for the most part, is trying their best.
Yeah.
Like, let's be way more forgiving, and let's be way more attentive. I realized that like my only regret was like, dang, I wish I wasn't on my phone so much when I was married to Kenyon.
Okay.
And so now I try to be more present, and because I'm like, you never know when the last time you're going to be with somebody is. Like, you really never know. So like, let's try to be more present in the moment and be with people in the moment.
I love that.
So that was a big thing, and that was a really happy thing. And like, I'm so glad that my mom and stepmom get along now, and that we can all be normal and together.
Yeah, I love
like,
that.
And it was just like, they both were just like, you know what, life's too short. Like, let's.
Yeah, they came together for you.
They came together for me. And like, Kenyon was so stubborn, and my family is always like, if anybody was going to get everybody along together, it would have been Kenyon. So we have him to thank for that. But yeah.
And then last question, what is your favorite thing or favorite memory of Kenyon?
So many. He was so full of personality. He was so fun and so funny, and he could make me laugh so hard. Like our relationship was just fun. Like it was really hard, but we truly were each other's best friend, and we just could laugh about like the dumbest things. Like even throughout all the hardest things that he went through, he's like, he'd always say, you could laugh or you could cry. He's like, and I like to laugh.
Yep.
Let's laugh.
Yeah.
And like, if you know me, I love to laugh. I make stupid jokes all the time. My friends always are just like, Becca. Like I love to laugh. And that's something that I'm so grateful that I got so many years of like laughing with Kenyon.
Yes. I love that.
And then he was a big, big, big music fan. He played drums and guitars.
Ooh.
Which he had so many guitars, and I'm like, oh, I should learn how to play these, because what else am I going to do with them? But then my little brother plays guitar, and I gave all of Kenyon's guitars to my little brother.
Oh.
So it's cool to see him be able to like keep Kenyon's music love alive and just remember him.
I love that.
So
I love that. On your story. Whew, so impactful, and it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing it with us and with everyone.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm happy to. I'm like, I saw a quote one time that was like, why share your story and why say the things you're saying? It's because, and then it's like, somebody has a wound in the shape of your words that needs healing.
Ooh, I love that.
And that kind of stopped me in my tracks, because I'm like, on Instagram, I share a lot, and I'm like, am I being too open about? And there's stuff that I like keep sacred and private that I haven't shared with people.
Yep, same.
But I'm like, what I'm sharing could if it can potentially help somebody, like, great, let's do it.
I love that. I love that you do that.
So
thanks, Becca.
Thank you. Okay. It's been an honor.